Hi scholars. Today we go to look at how to rationalize surd. How to rationalize surd. Now before we go on, we go first of all try to know the meaning of to rationalize. So what do it mean to rationalize? Now to rationalize generally, it simply means say you go make the denominator, a rational number. The first thing we need to look at now, wetin be denominator. Now when you get a fraction like a over b, this one wey dey for down na wetin we dey call denominator. So when they say rationalize, e mean say you go make the denominator a rational number. Now another question is wetin be rational number? We don talk about denominator, we don talk about wetin e mean to rationalize. Now wetin be rational number? Rational number na simply number wey no be zero or number wey no get root for the denominator. A rational number no get zero or e no get root. Now this topic dey important because sometimes you dey solve mathematics and imagine say you get your final answer as 2 over root 3. For mathematics, e no dey allowed because this number wey dey for this down so no be rational number. Now for this answer to dey correct, we need rational number to make am correct, and that is the reason why we dey always rationalize. In other words, we go change this one wey dey for here to rational number. Now to do that, e dey very very easy. All we need to do na to multiply both the down and the up by this same thing wey dey for down, because if we multiply am by this same thing wey dey for down, e go comot this square root. Make I explain wetin I mean here. If you get a over root b, now if you multiply this root b by this root b, this root go cancel. In other words, if you multiply root b multiply by root b, these two of them naturally go give you root b square, because root b and root b, if you bring the two of them under one root, b times b na b square. Now this root fit cancel this square. If this root cancel this square, e go remain only b. So this thing wey be b, wey be root b before, don become only b. So we don rationalize am. So na the exact thing wey we go do under rationalization na simply by making the denominator a rational number. Now before we move on quickly, bear in mind say when you multiply two same numbers wey dey for root, the two roots go cancel, e go remain only the number, like we show for here. For example, if you multiply root 3 by root 3, generally, instead of going on, these two roots go comot, e go remain only 3. How? Because root 3 times root 3 na the same thing as root 3 times 3, which is the same thing as root 9, and root 9 is equal to 3. So instead of going through all this process, we fit just short am to this one. As far as this number wey dey inside here and this number wey dey for inside here na the same number, and the two of them get root, and na multiplication dey for this middle, all you need to do na to just pick one of the two numbers and leave out the root. Make we look at some examples. My name na Moses from Mosaic Tutors, a place wey be say we dey dedicated in teaching mathematics and calculations in Pidgin. Abeg, if you never subscribe to our channel, try subscribe so that you no go miss any one of our videos. Now make we look at examples. Now let's imagine say you get 6 over root 3. 6 over root 3. Now the rule of rationalizing, we talk say multiply these two, the up and down, by wetin you get for this down. So this go become 6 over root 3 multiply by wetin dey here na root 3. So you multiply the two of them by root 3, multiply by root 3 over root 3. So this one go become wetin? 6 times root 3 go give you 6 root 3 all over root 3 times root 3. If you remember the rule wey we do for here, All you need to do now to remove the 2 roots and pick one of the two numbers wey go give us 3. Now 3 dey here, 6 dey here, you fit cancel. So 3 here go give you 1, 3 here go give you 2. So you get your final answer as 2 root 3. As simple as that. Make we look at another example. Imagine say we also get 7 root 18. Now 7 root 18. Now before we go on to rationalize, you fit simplify this root 18 again. Under simplification of roots, remember say you go break this 18 down. You go break am down into 2 in such a way wey be say one of the numbers wey you go get must be perfect square. Wetin be perfect square? Number wey you fit find the root. Like 4 na perfect square because if you find the root of 4 na 2. 9 na perfect square because root of 9 na 3. 25 na perfect square because root of 25 na 5. So you go break 18 into 2 numbers in such a way that one of the 2 numbers must be perfect square. And if you look well, you go see say if you break am into 9 times 2, 9 times 2 na still 18 and 9 na perfect square. Now wetin you go do? Dat number wey be perfect square into inside the 2 option, take the square of that number, put am for outside. In other words, wetin I mean na you go get 7 over root. This number wey be say na perfect square, wetin be the root? The root na 3. So you put am for outside 3, and then wetin go remain for here na 2. Make I explain this particular side further. Now in explaining that particular side, wetin we do for here no be magic. In other words, we no automatically talk say make we change 9 to 3. So make I break am down make you see. You remember say when you see something like 9 multiply by 2 and the 2 of them dey for root, this na the same thing as say you share the root. Root 9 multiply by root 2. Na the same thing. 9 be this 2. No difference in the 2 of them. Which means say nothing dey different from these 2. Now because these 2 na the same thing as this one na the same thing as this one, right? So now this one for here we fit find the root. So the root of 9 go give us wetin? 3. Then you get times wetin dey here? 2, which we fit write as 3 root 2. So na how we take get this place. No be say we just change the 9 to 3, because remember say for mathematics we no dey just change number. We get reasons why we dey do everything. So now back to our question. Instead of this, we fit get this, so that e go dey easier for us to rationalize. So I don break this down to become this one. So back to our question. Instead of 7 over root 18, you go dey get 7 over 3 root 2. So now make we come rationalize. So you multiply by 3 root 2 over 3 root 2. So this up, 7 times 3 go give you 21 root 2 all over 3 times 3 go give you 9, multiply by root 2 times root 2 go give you 2. So that go dey equal to 21 root 2 over 18. Something fit go between 21 and 18. So for here you go get 6. 3 here 6, 3 here 7, which leave our final answer as 7 root 2 over 6. Now the question will be, shey I fit solve this same question without having to bring am to this end? Yes, you fit. You fit solve am. But remember say questions like this dey carry the instruction simplify. Simplify means make simple or continue dey solve until you no fit solve again. So even if we no wan go through this part, we go still need to simplify. So if we go back to 7 over root 18, this go give us 7 over root 18 multiply by root 18 over root 18. And this go give us 7 root 18 over two of same number wey get root, you pick only 18. So this go give us, we can't break this one down because they say simplify. So you go get 7 root 9 times 2 over 18. So this go give us 7 times 9 go come out to become 3, then root 2 all over 18. Then when you come down, this will give us 21 root 2 over 18. So you have 6 here, 3 here, 6, 3 here, 7. So you get your answer as 7 root 2 over 6. So whichever one you decide to use, you go end up at the same answer. Just make sure, say, you simplify. You make your work simple. I'm going to look at one example before we move on. One last example. So if you get C, we get 5 over root 5. This one is simple and straightforward. Just multiply the two sides by root 5. Multiply these two sides by root 5. So this will give you 5 times root 5 will give you 5 root 5 all over root 5 times root 5 will give you 5. Same number, pick one, leave out the roots. 5 dey here, 5 dey here. This 5 cancel this 5. Your answer here could be root 5. So that's not all for under rationalizing. Now, under the last example we discussed, we get only one term. By one term, I mean say we no get plus or minus we differentiate two different surds or surds and constants. Wetin we get now just one particular surd. Now, what if we get two surds? What if we get two terms for denominator? For example, if you get question in this format, you get A over root A plus B. Now, for this particular question, we get two terms for this place. How we go fit take do this one? Now, we no fit go on to just multiply both sides by this exact number because e no go cancel the root. Make we try am. So if you multiply both sides by root A plus B all over root A plus B, wetin you go get here na A times root A, you go get A root A plus A times B, you go get AB all over. You go multiply this by this, we don do am before, then this by this. Then you also multiply this by this, then this by this. So A times this, root A times root A go give us A. Then root A times B will give us plus B root A. Then B times root A will give us B root A. Then B times B will give us B square. If you decide to extend this one, you will get A root A plus AB all over A plus B root A plus B root A plus B square. Now, the purpose, the main reason why we dey rationalize na because say we wan comot this root. But if you look here, this root never comot. The root still dey there, which means say e no dey enough for us to just multiply this and this. So wetin you go do now, whenever you have a question like this, first of all, search through. If you see any plus or minus, write the same term but change the sign. In other words, if you see plus, you change the plus to minus. If you see minus, you change the minus to plus. In this case, to say one of them na minus, which means one of these two go be minus, which means e go dey easy to cancel the two of them. In other words, you go don terminate the root from the two of them. E go remain this one and this one. If you remember clearly, we dey call am for mathematics difference of two squares. Now, the knowledge of difference of two squares we put at the back of our mind when we take do this. Now, make we look at examples wey go fit point us into the right direction. Make we see first example. So let's say we get 2 all over 3 root 5 plus 4. So this go be equal to 2 all over 3 root 5 plus 4 multiply by, we go pick the same thing wey e dey here, but we go change this sign for here to minus. So you go get 3 root 5 minus 4. The same thing for the down, 3 root 5 minus 4. If you put this na the same thing as say we put them in brackets. So if you get 2 open bracket, 3 root 5 minus 4, you close bracket. This one, if you put the two of them for inside bracket, so it go dey easy for us to multiply. So you get 3 root 5 plus 4, close bracket, then 3 root 5 minus 4, close bracket. So if we expand this up for here, you get 2 times 3 will give us 6, then root 5. 2 times 4 will give us minus 8. 2 times minus 4 will give us minus 8. Now, like we explained in this one, if you want expand, you go multiply this one by this one, still multiply am by this one. Same here, multiply this one, also multiply this one. So now what we go do here? So let's make we separate them so that it go dey easier for us. So you have 3 root 5. If they multiply these two here, or if they shake these two, so you have 3 root 5 minus 4, close bracket. Wetin remain here na plus 4, open bracket, 3 root 5 minus 4. Abeg, at this point, if you no understand wetin we do for here, abeg scroll down small, watch our video on surds with brackets. Watch our video on surds with brackets. We don explain everything we just do for here now, and e go dey easier for you to come back, continue this video, and totally understand wetin we dey do. So make we go on. So at this point, you will get 6 root 5 minus 8 all over. So you begin the multiply. 3 times 3, 9. Root 5 times root 5 na 5. So 9 times 5. 3 times minus 4, minus 12. Root here, no root here, so you put the root 5. We don't finish this side. Now on this side, 4 times 3 plus 4 times 3 plus 12. No root here, root for here, so you put the root 5 plus 4 times minus 4 will give us minus 16. So if we go on, if you look through, you go see say plus dey for this side, while minus dey for this side. So we fit cancel this and this. Plus 1 minus 1 na 0. Minus 1 plus 1 na 0. So this one fit cancel this one. The only thing we get for here na these 2 and this one. That is all. So if you want to write this, 9 times 5, from the up first, you get 6 root 5 minus 8 all over 9 times 5 will give us 45, then minus 16. So this will give us 6 root 5 minus 8 all over 45 minus 16 will give us 29. We know if we go on for here, so we leave this one as our final answer. One more example for the sake of understanding. So let's imagine say we get 6 over 2 root 2 minus 1. So wetin you do now, you multiply the two sides by the same number but you change the sign. So you have 6 2 root 2 minus 1. You multiply am by 2 root 2 plus 1 all over 2 root 2 plus 1. So for that up, you go get 6 open bracket, wetin dey here, 2 root 2 plus 1, close bracket, all over this one. You get 2 root 2 minus 1 for one bracket, then 2 root 2 plus 1 for another bracket. If we expand the up, 6 times 2 will give us 12. root 2. Then 6 times plus 1 go give us plus 6 all over. For this down, we fit further expand to become 2 root 2 open bracket 2 root 2 plus 1. Wetin remain here na minus 1. We further expand, write this other side 2 root 2 plus 1. So at this point, we go on. Now we begin to bring in 4 times 4. 2 times 2 here will give us 4. Then multiply this one also. Then this multiply this one. Then this to this one. Then this to this one. More repeat we get for up here. So this is 12 root 2 plus 6 because we no get wetin we wan do for that up again. Now all over 2 times 2 na 4 times root 2 times root 2 na 2. Then 2 times plus 1 na plus 2. Then root 2 dey here, nothing dey here, so you put down the root 2. On this side, minus 1 times 2 na minus 2. Then nothing dey here but root 2 dey here, so you put the root 2. Then minus 1 times plus 1 will give us minus 1. So on this end also, if we look through, you go see say we get plus 2 root 2 for here, minus 2 root 2 for here. So the two of them fit also cancel themselves. So wetin go remain for here? For the up, we go get 12 root 2 plus 6 all over. For the down here, 4 times 2, we get 8 minus. For this side, we get only 1. So our final answer go be 12 root 2 plus 6 all over 7. You no get anything we fit do for here again, so this one could become our final answer. So this is all on how to rationalize and using the conjugate of a binomial surd. Abeg no forget to subscribe so that you no go miss any of our next videos. Take care.